I'm glad you are here with us today for this weekend devotional. I want us to again to consider the idea of comfort. And I think it is often that we don't quite realize what comfort is. As a child of God, this idea of comfort is to be able to feel at ease. I guess you could say have peace. But there's a lot of things to this that we miss in some manner. I want us to go back to Luke, the 12th chapter, in verse 22. He said, and he said to his disciples, therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat, nor about your body, what you will put on. For life is more than food, and the body more than clothing. Consider the ravens, they neither sow nor reap. They have neither storehouse nor barn, and yet God feeds them. Of how much more value are you than the birds? And which of you, being anxious, can add a single hour to the span of life? If then you're not able If then you are not able to do as small a thing as that, why are you anxious about the rest? Consider the lilies of how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, yet I tell you, even Solomon in all of his glory was arrayed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass, which is alive in the field today and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? Do not seek what you shall eat and what you shall drink, nor be worried. For all the nations of the world seek after these things, and your Father knows you need them. I want us to think about that for just a moment. This idea that we look at our lives and we become afeared of many things, of going through the dark days and difficult situations. We become anxious. We become so stirred that we have difficulty controlling our emotions and our feelings. And we may continue to have difficulty with the emotions, and yet it should be for a different reason. This idea of letting God take control, that's comfort. That idea of knowing that God has taken control. God knows what we need. God understands the necessities of our life as his child. That's hard for us to get a hold of. It's hard to get a grasp on. That God knows what we need, most especially for our lives, for each one of us. And so it is through God, it's through the Christ that we have this comfort, this availability to withstand anxiousness, to have peace in our heart. So many of these words go together so closely. To have peace in our heart, to look to God and know that He has everything under control. That's comfort. I want us to listen to what He says instead of worrying about all of these things, instead of seeking all these things that God knows that we need. He said, I want you to do something else. He said, instead, seek His kingdom. Seek God. Seek His love. Seek His care. Seek that security in Him. This idea of seeking through Christ the forgiveness of sin because of the blood. This willingness to give ourselves over and to live in God. To look forward or toward that hope in heaven. He said, instead, seek His kingdom, and these things will be added to you. Fear not, little flock, for it is with the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. To give you the kingdom. You see, we need salvation beyond all things and a hope of an eternity in heaven with God. We need to look toward God. He gives us that hope. He gives us that expectation that goes beyond this world. And in that, in knowing that there is that home in heaven with Him, there is a comfort of calling on Him, seeking His strength to withstand all things. We're still going to face the troubles. We're still going to face the difficulties. But He said through Him, through God, comes this comfort, the peace, that which offsets the anxieties of life. I hope that you can take this with you this weekend. that you can look and that you will seek God and lean upon Him, knowing that it is through Him that comes our greatest treasure, that forgiveness of sin and a salvation, a home in heaven to look toward, easing our minds on all the anxieties that this world brings. Thank you so much for being here today, and may God bless.